Second to get the Zoom ready. All right, you good, Thor? Yeah, sorry.
Recording in progress.
Perfect. All right, thanks everyone for joining. We're going to get started with the questions in the room first for Bianca St. George, and then we'll go online to the only person that's on there, Jeff Kassouf, if he has anything. So we'll get started with questions in the room. Caleb, you got the mic.
Welcome to Utah, Bianca.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the goal. How did it feel tonight?
It feels amazing. Who wouldn't want that, right? But, I mean, the most important thing is we came out with a point and we came out with a lot of things that can give us clarity moving forward. So I think we're pumped for the season. We have a good start. And, looking forward to what we're going to build upon that.
You've been in the league for a few years now, but only a few days, a few weeks here in Utah. How have you kind of gelled early with your teammates? And I mean, on that goal in particular, it seemed like you knew where Mandy was going with that ball, and
Yeah.
it worked out.
It was so seamless and easy to transition here because this club is very professional, and the team is genuine and tight, and we all have a common goal. So to be here as a team is the best thing that you want. You don't want to be with a bunch of individuals that have like their own agenda. So I think that's what makes this special and makes it easy for people like me that want the same thing to come into an environment and thrive.
And then you weren't in the whole match, but in the time you were in there, what were some things maybe that you'd like to see the team improve on for next match?
I think we need to stay gritty, stay true to ourselves, authentic, and ultimately just level up every game.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Congrats on the goal.
Thank you.
Have you and Mandy even had a chance yet to kind of share in that moment that you had together?
A little at halftime because I remember during the game I screamed her name. I was like, Mandy! I was like, did you hear me scream? She's like, nope. But she's like, I saw you. So sometimes like it's funny because people don't realize this, but on the field, we actually lock eyes with each other. So that's how you know we're ready to get the ball. It's not someone just blindly kicking the ball and you're reacting. Like me and Mandy like looked at each other, even though we're super far away. So that's kind of like the connection you build. And there are some things that just are nonverbal and you just get it.
You talked about it a little bit with Kayla, but will you talk a little bit more, or will you share with us how you feel like the chemistry is starting to evolve? Because there are quite a few of you that are new here.
Yeah.
How is the chemistry? Who are the players that you're feeling comfortable with on the pitch, and what relationships do you hope to even develop further as the season progresses?
Well, I just have to give credit that the chemistry comes from the culture set from the club. The staff, the technical staff, but also the supporting staff. It's not just the players, it's everyone together. And that's what I love about this club is it feels like a team, but not just the people on the field, but it goes way beyond that. And then after that, if you narrow down to like the specifics, I mean, on my side, I get the chance to play with Allie. And, you know, she's a young player that has so much to offer already for her age. And it's really exciting to play with a player like her because then we can focus on our connections. And then having Nuria in the back is someone that's new for me, but it's fun to have this international experience as well to come in and see how we can play together. So it's a lot of like experiences that we need to discover together, but it's fun. Like that's what I love the game is because we get to play with different profiles.
Last question for me. So you're new, so the expansion derby maybe doesn't mean as much, or does it? When you're new, do you immediately absorb that rivalry that exists between the Utah Royals and Bay? Is that just something that you took upon yourself that you feel? Because it was a very chippy match. It felt very much like last year's expansion derby.
Every team to me is a rival, so it doesn't matter who we play. I'm going to come in, I'm going to battle. But I feed off of other people, and I think people feed off me. So to me, it doesn't matter who we play. I'm just going to bring it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, just I have a question of how was playing in this cold today, because I think that the first very game on the season it's complicated because you need to involve with your physical things in the during the game, but with this goal it's also complicated. How it was?
So I don't mind the cold. And I'm not saying that because I'm Canadian. I say I don't mind the cold because the moment you let the cold bother you, you're already at a weakness. You have to embrace it. You know that all the other players that you're going to play against are going to moan about the cold. Let them moan. Let them feel bad about it. I'm going to take that to my advantage. I just tell myself it doesn't mean anything. Give me any type of weather, I'm going to show up. So it's just a mentality to me. You just have to train. I think the altitude is the hardest thing here. And we have the advantage because we train here. So at the end of the day, we're the big dogs here.
And also, in your position, you said that playing with Nuria and with Ali next to you, but having a player as Claudia also
Yes.
helps a lot to involve the others in the game. How is going playing with her during these games?
I mean, every training we have conversations about how we want to play together, what are our tendencies, because we're trying to learn at a high speed how we play. Claudia's left-footed, so that's really important for me to understand because that means her angles are going to be a little bit different and her balls are going to be different. But again, if you look at people in their eyes, you can communicate on the field. Like you have to kind of like dumb it down and make it as simple as possible. It's like, what do you want? Be clear about what you need, and then just go from there. So, you're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Bia.
Start calling you Elsa from Frozen.
Oh yeah.
The cold never bothers you.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Bianca's the BSG.
Where in Canada are you from? Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec.
Quebec. Quebec.
Quebec.
Quebec.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Montreal. Okay, thanks
Thank you.
everyone. Nice to meet you.
My place in Canada, they have an extra.
You can check. There's probably still a good bunch out there, honestly. We'll have Kate next. I think Alex is bringing her in off the field.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my hands. It's nice. Hi guys. How are you?
All right, we got Kate, who's got the mic. Caleb's got the mic. We'll go ahead and start with Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
Kind of a chippy game out there, a little physical.
Little.
How did it feel? How do you feel like you guys adjusted?
Yeah.
And just the thoughts on the result in general.
Yeah, I think very chippy, a lot of fouls. I think we did well overall to not let it frustrate us too much. I think we lost our heads a few times in those moments, and then that's when the swing of momentum was happening. But I think first half to get the goal go ahead was good, but then to concede on a set play is obviously frustrating and disappointing. But I think second half we came out, we were the better team, had more possession, but it's just turning that into goal scoring chances and then capitalizing.
First time we've seen Paige out there in the defense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she went out, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe thoughts on like the rotations, the new players that came in,
Yeah.
and how they integrated into the formation.
Yeah, I think it's good that you have like multiple players that can play positions, and Paige is super versatile, and we had a little bit of a hole at right back, and we just signed Yanni, and she was just coming into the team, still needed to figure some things out tactics wise and stuff. So Paige was capable of stepping in back there, and I think that kind of showcases her ability, getting forward, but still she can play defense. So yeah, it's good that we have those rotations, and yeah, we're gonna need every player this year. So the more depth we have, the better.
What did you think of Yanni when she came in?
Yeah, I think she did great. I was like, welcome to the NWSL, huh? And she was like, yeah, it's physical. But she's a physical player. I think she has that pace up front. She's not afraid to take on the ball, go 1v1. It was really cool to see her, get her feet wet. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
You did an excellent job this evening with
Oh.
two very
Fast, yeah.
very fast, very
Yeah.
strong attackers. So nice job.
Thank you.
I am curious, going back to the chippiness, was that to be expected? Do we
Yeah.
carry the expansion derby into this season, or
I
was
think
that just
so.
something else?
I don't know. I think in our heads we wanted to be more possessions based, control the game a little bit more, and I think that was their way of trying to maybe throw us off a little. I think in the first half they had maybe twice as many fouls as we had and 3 or 4 yellow cards. So I think that was part of their game plan, and then it was just us matching that intensity. I think in the second half it was better from us physically. But yeah, they were just trying to get us off our game, I guess, and that's the type of game it was.
So going back to Caleb's, you had Paige back there,
Yeah.
but there's going to be even some additional changes possibly here in the near future. We have had some injury
Yeah.
change-ups. Amani is
Yes.
one that we could see back there.
Absolutely.
How as a back line do you keep continuing to work with that constant kind of
Yeah.
thrashing?
Yeah. I think it's just having a standard as a back line and knowing that pieces are going to come in and go, but as long as we keep the standard the same and everybody knows the role and knows what they have to do when they come in, then I don't think it's a problem. We have a lot of talented defenders, and I think it's so good that we're getting these players back off the injury reserve.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Bay is a team unique in their, again, as we've discussed, their attackers.
Yeah.
How much of what we saw tonight on the pitch is kind of the style and the rhythm that we'll see next week and in
Yeah.
coming weeks? Or was this, do you think, somewhat of a one-off in
Yeah.
terms of what we saw from them?
I mean, I think we had to adjust to the way they were playing. I think we weren't able to execute our game plan to the full extent that we wanted to. I think these next coming weeks, we want to dominate the ball more. We want to have those interchanges in the final third. We want more quality in the final third. I think they did well to disrupt us, fouling, getting little touches in, not letting us, get those final third passes in that we wanted. But I think you kind of saw a snippet of what you're going to see from us, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you were trying to start playing from the back, but the high pressure of the team of the
Yeah.
AFC was really good. How the team or how Jimmy was trying to telling you on how to move on
Yeah.
that pressure.
Well, I think you saw with the goal, right? It was we kind of were trying to outplay them and not we didn't need to, right? So we were like, Mandy, their outside back is jumping so high. Just put it over and perfect ball, goal. Easy as that. Soccer doesn't have to be, so intricate sometimes. Sometimes it is just that simple. We obviously want to be a possession team, so Jimmy is really encouraging of us being brave and, confident in our own box, play mini games, play possession, play around them, but like we said, we can score in multiple ways. So Bianca made that great run behind. Mandy played a perfect ball, and we score from that. So
Last season, Anna was playing as a 6,
Yeah.
and she was really good. Also going back to help on the play from the back. Now
Yeah.
he was a center back, but how was also Claudia helping you
Yeah.
and your teammates just to?
yeah, I think that's another testament to the versatility we have on the team. Obviously, Anna came in as a center back, played center back last year, and then moved into the 6 and did really, really well. We do have a little bit of an injury. We have Kale and Tatum, who are both center backs that picked up little injuries, little knocks in the preseason. So Anna stepped right into center back, and I think she fits in flawlessly there. Obviously, we like having her higher up on the pitch. So once we get some players back in rotation, hopefully that will be the move. But yeah, having midfielders like Anna and Claudia that can play the ball and are so confident on the ball, I think it just brings a calmness to the players around it, especially the new players on the team. You just know that they're going to take care of the ball and they're going to make it easy for you to do your job, which is nice.
Anyone else? Perfect. Thank you, Kate.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
got Jimmy for our final interview. Caleb, you've got the mic. Go ahead and get us started.
Hello, Jimmy. I guess, yeah, just kind of thoughts on the match overall and how this compares to where you would like to see this team be ideally in peak form this season.
I think the game is a reflection of where we are right now. I think first half was a bit hesitant, first 15, 20 minutes, concede 4 to 5 corner kicks. So at that point, you know you're under pressure. I think we adjusted slightly. We adjusted to what they were doing on the pitch, and then actually I think we found a few very good opportunities. I think the goal that we scored is not just a long ball, is because we saw they were playing a back three. So if that point Bianca could stay wide and get in behind, that was an opportunity, that was a threat. But then I think the second half you need to capitalize. Cannot play a second half like you just did today and then not capitalize that one. I think second half was good. We're finding the right players. I also felt Bay was very low in energy, giving it a bit away, but that's what we have to capitalize at that point. But I think overall not a bad result for a first game. I think it could have been more, maybe even should have been more. But yeah, I think in general, I wouldn't say happy, but also not really unhappy. It's a bit of an in-between right now.
A lot of players out right now with little injuries, and then Paige got one tonight as well. But it sounds like you're going to get Imani back in the next little bit. How is kind of the rotation of things going, and how close maybe do you think the starting group is to being somewhere that you like it to be?
I think from a physical point of view, they're all okay. It was just health-wise that Bianca was kept at certain amount of high-speed running. That was also why we had to supper. So we're still working towards that starting 11, having everyone there. I think it's not an excuse. I'm never going to use excuses, but it's been 1 week that we've been training with this full group. So I think that's also just a very important side note. I think Imani is a very important player. Last 2 weeks, she's been in practice fully. She was ready for a good 10 minutes today, and that's why I didn't want to take the risk. You see these kind of games, it's the first game, it's the opening game, so you don't want someone on the bench that's only ready for a good 10 minutes. So that was why we did what we did. But then also, I think what I was really surprised of is seeing Jenny coming in and doing what she did. I mean, that was in the heat of the fight. I think she didn't expect it at all to be subbed as one, and then to come in after 30 minutes and to play such a game, that's huge in my opinion. That's a really good thing for us.
On the note of Paige coming out, how much does that affect both the defense but also the leadership she brings to the team?
Well, I think Paige was playing on that position because we had no one else. So I think that's the first part. It was not necessarily Paige's position, but at this point, we didn't really have good options for the right outside back, except for Yanni, but then she needed more time to be adapted to whatever we want to do. So from a style of play, I think I would want a right outside back like Yanni to be playing, and then I would allow Paige to go up higher. I think that was the planned sub after 60 minutes was to bring off Bianca, bring in Yanni, and then move up Paige, just to explain you how things can change after 20 minutes. But I think from a leadership point of view, I think Kate took it over. She did it very well. I think Mandy was a bit unfortunate in the first half, in my opinion, gave a few balls away. Also said in during halftime, which shows that people are accountable. To come in the locker room at halftime and to say in front of the group, like, look, this was on me. Gave a few bad passes, but if we can find those players, we'll be good. I think that's what we want to be as well from a group perspective, and I think Manny did it very well, and then the second half she picks it up. So in terms of leadership, I don't believe in just having one leader. I think there were 3 to 4 leaders on the pitch today, and they showed up. At the end of the day, I think we played a very decent 60, 70 minutes probably, and some bad 21st minutes, and I think that's the balance of today.
How is Paige doing? Any kind of update on what she's feeling?
From what I've heard so far, and obviously like, I'm not in the right position to guess, but from what I've heard, it's not too bad. Was a bad contact. I don't really like to talk about referees, but I think there were a lot of bad calls today, in my opinion. I think Kundananje should definitely have received a red on 2 or 3 occasions. So yeah, I mean, that's part of the game. The free kick that we conceded was someone in the way of Mandy. The ball was kicked towards her, so she finds herself in an offside spot. The free kick, once it gets kicked, it was 7 yards off the touchline. So all these small elements are very important in the game, and I think if you want to be the best league, you want to become the best, you want to be a showcase, this just needs to be better, to be honest. We need to be better from a playing perspective, but I think the guidance of the game also needs to be better.
Coach, you mentioned it, Kate, when she was sitting here. She mentioned it. Confidence. How much of the chemistry that maybe wasn't there this evening was due to just being the first game of the season, being at home, and how much of it was Bay?
Yeah, I think Kelly Cousins, our sporting director, said it well. We played a team that played a full season together. I think maybe on one player half that came in this lineup. They played all together last season, all of these players. So they know each other, they know all of that. We had to fit in a few new players. We had to fit in quite other profiles. But I think in terms of chemistry, I think we're at 60%. And I think what we've shown in the second half was quite impressive, in my opinion, playing against Kundunanji or Shoala and allowing them to just be chasing you and just play it around. I think we found Claudia very often in the second half. We found Dana on the turn. But yeah, again, like those moments we have to capitalize, and we have to make sure we also get something out of it. It's not only possession that we want, but we want to translate possession into actual threats, and I think that's something we have to work on in the upcoming weeks. But like I said, it's been 9 days altogether right now, so I think we've seen what we expected so far.
I don't think we've quite given enough attention to Del Fava's performance tonight. She had two incredible attackers to have to deal with. What were your feelings on Kate's performance tonight?
Kate is top 3 in this country. It's as easy as it gets. I think she's one of the best defenders that is playing right now. So that's my opinion. Obviously, I see her every day. I see also how dedicated she is to being a professional. Is the first one in, last one out, treats her body very well, does everything that she needs to do. So in my opinion, she's one of the best American defenders right now. And she showed it again today. She covered depth when it was necessary to cover depth against very fast players. She was able to intercept, I think, 3 or 4 balls and to really capitalize them. In the build-up, I think she didn't give away 1 ball. So, I mean, I don't know what more I can ask for her, but she played a very good game again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking with Kate also, she mentioned about the high pressure of BFC. Well, I asked her about the high pressure. Does that was a surprise to you, or you were prepared for that situation?
No, I mean, if I would have Kundunanji and Oshoala, I would be pressing too. Wouldn't back up. I think those are 2 players that whenever we have a press and it takes us 8 seconds, it takes them 5 to 6 seconds. So there's 3 seconds of difference. That's a huge deal. So that's what we expected. And to be honest, I think we struggled within the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But after that, I don't think we saw a lot of pressure. We saw a lot of pressure, but not good pressure. I think, especially in the second half, when we started playing with Dana and Claudia on the same line, it was or Dana receiving or Claudia receiving, and they could press as much as they wanted at that point. But I thought we found them well. But then the quality of some passing in the first half was just not good enough to really use it. And I think that was the biggest issue. Like, I'm very confident. I like press. I like them to press us. That's fine. But then if the quality of our balls are good, we're actually doing something with their press. As long as your quality on the ball is not good enough, you allow players like they have to come back and press again, and that's an issue. I don't necessarily am afraid of the first press. I was afraid of a second press, and that's what they did very well until minute 55, and then I think we took it over. I think Ali shot against the bar, if I'm not mistaken. I think Yanni's shot from the side wasn't too bad either. I think we had a few opportunities around the 16, around the 18-yard, where Macy receives, she turns back. Like, all of those moments are just moments that you have to go for your own luck. So, again, not a bad performance, but slightly disappointed.
Also, Jenny Thompson, she was subbed in after Paige's injury, and she did very well also, but with the help of Kate Del Fava, was really good for her too. Yeah. How she was after a few weeks on the team, maybe?
Well, Jenny arrived on Tuesday, so it was straight in. But again, I think they were playing a 3-5-2, so to us it was really important to find Jenny very low, to lure out one of the players and then to find those gaps. And Jenny came in, I think her first 2 balls weren't great, but then we tried to explain it again, and then she went lower, and once she was lower, she was having a lot of fun. I think the confidence she had to, in minute 83, to try to push that ball past the defender and go herself, like, that's the type of player she is. And if you can perform this after being in 2 days, after being in Utah for 2 days, with all the circumstances around Utah, she traveled, on Saturday she traveled from Denmark to Canada to get the visa. On Monday she traveled from Canada to Utah. On Tuesday she did medical tests. On Thursday was her first training session. Friday she did 50% of training. And on Saturday she's playing 60 minutes. I mean, playing 60 minutes like this after such a week, to me that's something very well. That's something very good. So we'll be able to use her very well this season. And we were waiting for that right outside back, obviously, with the very good news that Olivia Griffiths gave us. We're very happy, but like that was when we had to adapt. That was quite close to the season. But again, like I think we found her and will allow Paige to go up higher up on the pitch and will give us even more offensive possibilities, which in my opinion today we missed a bit, the offensive part more than defensive part. I thought defensively we actually looked quite okay.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.